Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, you being able to spend some time with us. We're going to talk this evening about radiation. We're bombarded every day by radiation from nature, from our own sun. And if we didn't have some kind of protection, we would get fried, and certainly the radiation would cause a problem. We have lots of man-made radiation, Fukushima, Hiroshima, cell phones, somebody mentioned microwaves. And I think a lot of our problem about being so susceptible to pathogens is coming from radiation poisoning of our cell. Individual cells are breaking down and allowing invasions. So we're gonna talk about radiation and how it affects each cell and makes each cell very vulnerable. And we have a volunteer already. Allison asked, and we put her in the panelist box. She's going to help us look at radiation in her life because she has these nondescript symptoms that she can't quite put her finger on, and neither can anyone else. So in that case, we always look at radiation. We have 2 radiation softwares. They're also available on the portal. One is Radiation Radical Rescue, and we made that for Fukushima. And then we have another one that deals with free radicals. Fukushima does create free radicals, but so does X-rays and microwaves and all that stuff. So I appreciate you being here. I'm Sherry Edwards, your host. We are from the Institute of BioAcoustic Biology and Sound Health, and tonight we're being sponsored by the Sound Health Portal, the workstation for all of the work that we do here so that you guys can follow along and get the benefits of what we're doing. We're located in southeastern Ohio in Appalachia, right across the state from Cincinnati. We firmly believe that whoever controls health controls the quality of life. And if you don't believe that, look at what's happening to our world today. Now, personally, I don't think this flu is any worse than anything else. Look at the statistics. But it's being used to control you, to control entire communities. What we would like to do is put health back into your hands so that you can be the helper in the community. You can tell people if they have been exposed to radiation. We have gone to the National Institutes of Health, and they told us that we need to keep case studies. So we stick a microphone in someone's hand. We take 30 to 40 seconds of a sample of their vocal print, and from there we have been able to compile a massive database that tells us if we look at this math is like this math of somebody who had a stroke. So we're able to do those comparisons. But I have to give you a warning. A lot of you are going on the portal, soundhealthportal.com, and providing a vocal print. But it's not with a microphone that is correct. So if you have the wrong microphone, if you're trying to do this just on your bare cell phone, it's just going to be garbage in, garbage out. So these are 3 of the microphones that we use. We're testing others all the time. This Samson is on sale on Amazon for $29. I bought 2 of them yesterday. So that's pretty good. We also went to the National Science Foundation. Actually, National Institute of Health asked us to, because they thought this had a lot of potential, but they didn't know much about it. So one of the things they said was voice analysis has the potential for non-invasive and inexpensive detection of physiological states, also psychological states, This would certainly have dramatic impact across the healthcare system if it could be specific, robust, and predictive. And it is now. We turned in a grant to the National Institute of Health on Parkinson's at their request. They then turned us down. They made some kind of new director or something or other. They turned us down, and it wasn't 6 months till another company and a person who reviewed our grant worked for that company, and they were trying to detect Parkinson's by vocal prints. I think it was Pfizer, I'm not sure. But they soon gave that up because I wasn't dumb enough to give them all the information. So I ask a question here with what we are doing. Would you like to jump online, the workstation, and within a very few minutes know bioacoustically which radioactive isotopes you have been exposed to? That's almost a trick question, because we've probably been exposed to all of them. And the government does little to make a difference. What they did with Fukushima is, here's a level that's safe, maybe a 2. And what they did with Fukushima was just up it to 30 and say you're still safe. And the first thing they did, everybody who's pregnant needs to be vaccinated or whatever. And then those are the people that the toll was taken to the extreme, because a lot of those pregnancies were aborted because of radiation. Rose Orapello has written a lot about this. She's a nurse, and she wrote a specific article about what radiation was doing to pregnant mommies, and it's disgusting. So we're going to talk about that this evening. Also, one of our very first clients was Willie Crum, and his father, William Crum, was head of the Ohio State Independent Living Council for Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation. And he didn't believe in any of this, but his son Willie had seen me on a TV show and forced his dad to come see me. And Willie drooled a lot. The very first thing we were able to do was show Willie how to open and close his mouth. And from then on, William Crum became a believer. And what he believes, and what I too, is the body has the ability to self-diagnose. Whether we're going to work on iridology or blood works or the shape of your hand or your earlobes, whatever it is, the mankind has been looking for a way to interpret the size of your nose. What does it mean? Your finger phalanges. What does it mean? X-rays. What do they mean? The body knows how to take care of itself if it's strong enough, if it has the energy to do it. And that's one of the things we want to talk about today, how mankind has depleted his energy to the point where he can barely take care of himself and keep himself in good shape. If this was not true, a cut would never heal itself. Nobody'd ever get pregnant without really concentrating on it. The body knows. Our legal team makes us explain that everything expressed here is in terms of bioacoustic frequency equivalent. A frequency equivalent. A numeric representation of everything. A frequency representation of all that you are. We as entities, as animated things, robots, we are a frequency, a combination of everything that we've ever seen, thought, ate. It's called a signature sound. They now call it a biofield in modern times. So when we look at things like Fukushima, which is an energy explosion, it goes in the water, it goes in the fish, it goes in the air, we become that energy. And when Fukushima happened, 10 years ago, Obama said, there's no radiation that's going to bother you, nothing. We now know that's totally from the truth. You look at places like Maine and you see lots and lots of thyroid problems. And they've proven, Dr. Apsley's proven that that is directly from Fukushima, and that good sea kelp iodine will really help reverse the situation. There are so many people out there saying, there's nothing wrong here. Oh yes, there is. It's poisonous. No, it isn't. It won't hurt you. It'll go away in a few days. It'll never get in the fish. They were all over the place with this till we didn't know what or who to believe. What's needed now is there was an effect from Hiroshima and Chernobyl, and what we as humans need to pick up and look at. Our cells have been damaged, no matter what these yahoos are trying to tell you. And our job, if we want to be healthy, is to go to the core of our being and start to build. First identify, and then use nutrition and other immune system, Krebs cycle, detoxification, leaky gut, because radiation comes along and it bothers your gut. We've got all these people with big bellies because their gut has been exposed through the food we're eating and air we're breathing, lungs too. The gut is being torn apart. Leaky gut is a really important piece of this. And your bone marrow is attacking bone marrow. Those are two important things. Your organs, then your immune system. So what we have done for 20 years or so with the whole system, we're looking at Fukushima 10 years, we are setting up a different model of health. One based on the idea that your voice is a holographic representation of all that you are. And we give you the opportunity to have your voice looked at so that we have been able to model this, and you can tell what's going on. Even though the medical community can't, are they short-sighted? I don't know. Do they not want this? Because we're trying to make it very cheap. I don't know the answer to that either. But we have set down this existing model and providing it to you through the Sound Health portal. And we hope to show you what you can do with this evening. California is slammed. Maine is slammed. Parts of Mexico is slammed. And they're looking at all of these particles of iodine was one of the worst. And all the other pieces, cesium, and I can't remember all the names. But we need to find a way to keep our body so healthy that these free radicals can't get in and cause damage. It's like our body is rusting because of these free radicals. 14,000 U.S. deaths tied to Fukushima, yet they're saying in the government, it's not causing any problem. Do you believe it? Are there ever safe levels of radiation? Well, they have to look at radiation when they're up on the space station. You have to look at it when you're on the beach. People who work in hospitals wear these big leaded things that keep the radiation from them. Is there a safe level of radiation? I don't think there is now in this day and age. There may have been in olden times, ancient times, when there was X-ray machines and CAT scans and all the things we invented in the name of future medicine so we can look at ourselves and see what's going on. There are some safe levels. Granite contains uranium. Marble gives off the same gas as granite. Sleeping next to someone exposes you to K40, and I looked up K40, and it really means everything they've been exposed to, you are now exposed to. Cell phones, flying on an airplane, smoke detectors, that little colored green and orange light. Look at that, even salt substitutes. Who said they were safe? When we look at what happened with Fukushima and all the fish in between, looking Tokyo, San Francisco, look where the path goes. It hits that border of the U.S. and on down through Mexico, and on the same path just goes right back. It's all over. It's just more prevalent where there's been some kind of disaster. 10 Mile Island here, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, a big reactor blew up, and we were told to be very, very careful. They've been testing fish. A lot of the fish are sick, distorted, mutated because of this radiation. The same is coming for us in our genetic patterns. It's being mutated. This is one way. Peroxynitrite. And I have a map here to show where this is. This causes cell death. It induces cell death. And it's the same frequency as this bad sulfite in this methylation map. This is available to you on the Sound Health portal when you're doing your report. Sulfite, you can't really see my little arrow here, but the right-hand side, the bottom, sulfite, that's where the body begins to not be able to get rid of these bad sulfurs, bad free radicals. And when we do your methylation mapping and your Krebs cycle, you can look at this map and fill it out. One of the things that happens here, let me see if I can pull it up. I can't even see my arrow here. But when you download this, you can take these little red circles and move them up onto the map. So you can look at the Krebs cycle, the body's energy cell. That's the thing that goes. That's the thing that gets damaged. That cellular mitochondrial, that furnace that gives your body animation and energy. You damage this and it's the beginning of the end. This is the Krebs cycle, the vitamin C cycle. The next one is detox. And nitric oxide has a lot to do with this same sodium sulfite. You'll see that in the description. This is how the body spends its energy. The third one says tryptophan. The fourth circle is how the body repletes its DNA. The two circles on the right, well, no circle on the bottom, but this is methionine and glutathione, how the body uses its incoming resources and how the body detoxifies these free radicals. Let me move this over. So part of this peroxynitrite that induces cell death, it deals with nitric oxide. We'll see that a little bit more of that later. But this is an F sharp. No, it's an F. And when this gets really out of hand, potent inducer of cell death. This is from oxidation. It's from your body, like rusting from the inside out. You never want this in your chart. Joanne's saying, somebody open mic and tell her about the map. You guys didn't see the map? I will put it back up. And I will have to stop share and go share again. This is the map that you can get on the Sound Health portal to look at and to fill out if you're going to run your body through Krebs cycle or methylation mapping. The Krebs cycle, the vitamin C cycle. I can't get the arrow to show up. But this first circle on the left, that's the vitamin C. The second sort of squash circle starts with the arginine. That's how your body detoxifies. The circle in the middle is how you use your energy. The next circle to the right is how you replete your DNA. And then the circle on the right and the bottom is how your body uses its incoming resources. That's available on the site, and I will show you. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing again and go back. Thank you, whoever is putting in all these chats. It's wonderful. When we begin to, that's out of order. When we begin to look at how to take care of the entire body, there is something called the interstitium, and it's right under the skin. It's sort of slimy. You can see it when you cut up a chicken, and it is the magnetic potential organ of the body. If you keep the magnetic potential clear, all of the electrical energy goes where it needs to. Now, just recently, medical people in the U.S. said they found a new organ. They called it the interstitium, but it's been called, I don't know how to pronounce, Heo channel. Somebody correct me there. So this has been known for thousands of years, but science is saying they just found it, just discovered it. Some of you, when you meditate or other people touch you, and there's a certain way to touch you on your back, and you'll feel this energy run up and down your body. Sometimes when you get scared, sometimes it's a little butterfly feeling, that running through the flowers butterfly to your lover. But it's a feeling that you can feel all over your body moving up and down. An exercise that you can try is to pretend there's a brilliant bright light in the center of your being. Mine's under my breastbone, but it can be under your third eye or wherever. And then all of a sudden, blow up that white light so it goes everywhere in your body. That clears this interstitium if you can get it to do it. Sometimes there's a little exercise you can do on your back, but somebody else needs to do it to begin to release that energy. I don't know if it's Kundalini energy or just that layer of electrical potential, magnetic potential. In your body, you have to have electric system. You have the brain creating all this energy, and it goes throughout your body, and that's how all the communication happens. But you have to have the magnetic potential clean and clear, and that's what that little it just feels like electricity running all through your body. That makes the electricity do what it ought to do. It's like the insulation on wiring in your body. It keeps things processing and moving the way they should. This is our Bioacoustic Basics textbook. Somebody write down that address, would you, for people? I think that's where you can still get it and grab it. If not, you can go to our Sound Health Options and buy it. It's $60. I'm getting animated here, George, so that's why I'm moving around. I'll try to hold very still so you can hear. So we have radiation rescue. That's the one from radiation materials that's spewed from Fukushima, that's now in the water, that's now in the sea kelp, that's now in the fish. Dr. John Apsley, and he has a website, drjohn.com, I think, and he shows all the statistics from Chernobyl and what happened, and especially for the women that were pregnant. So we have the antidotes, we have the information. So I think a good plan is for us to have a backup plan. So we probably should do a whole 4-hour session on radiation. We're doing biodiet, we're doing sports, we're doing depression, so we should add this radiation rescue, because I think it's the bottom layer of why we get sick, because each of our cells has been bombarded with this radiation, and they're trying to keep it a secret. So for those of you who want to be part of that class, this is what it looks like, and this is the software that would go with it, or we will also put it on the portal. It's a lot easier on the portal to do all of it. We think that if we can teach you about all of this, we can create this idea of individual medicine within you, within your family, within your community. And we are putting together all of these pathways of chemistry, only we're putting them together as sonistry, sound chemistry. We can look at so much more, because math is predictable. 2 and 2 is always 4. And sometimes in the chemistry, we look at the pathway and there's stuff missing in between. But if we use it with just math, we can get it done and we can see the missing pieces. I believe this is the medicine of the future. There might be a time when you call the doctor and you say blah, 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 and he's looking at your vocal print and he says, turn your frequency generator to 20.76 and your asthma will be better in the morning. I just made that up. We can look at medication, at a broken muscle, a damaged bone. We can look at all of that as a frequency, and that's what we want to share with people. You know, I've been following this for the last 3 or 4 years. More than that. In 2004, we put out a tenet that said, T-E-N-E-T, everybody who has similar issues will have similar vocal anomalies. From that 2004 date, a lot of people picked this up. MIT just put out a song for the coronavirus. I think that's awesome. They're catching up with us. And they will be able to tell you from your vocal print what you need. Put your frequency generator to this. Call me in the morning. Oh, you broke your bone? Oh, we already have those frequencies. Turn your frequency generator to this. This happened with the astronauts. The astronaut, one of them, this is at least 15 years ago, got an irregular heart. And William Crum, who I just mentioned in the beginning of this, called me and said, can you do something from down here? I said, sure, we know how to put our heart back into rhythm. And so they did it. He was fine. The world went on. My condition for doing it, don't tell anybody I did it, or that BioAcoustic did it, but we can say it now. When these exposures came out for radioactive isotopes, we figured out which ones were going to be the problem. Iodine-131 has been the most. It affects your thyroid, breast and lung. It interferes with glutamate, glutathione. Look at this. We got the same stuff as we did with corona. And it goes into competition with your zinc. What's pulling people out of this problem with their lungs who have coronavirus? Zinc. The antidote to the zinc in this case is a form of ammonia that attacks the lungs. And we put this out years ago. I don't remember when. 2011. But here are some of the notes you can look for in people's radiation charts. And are they poisoned with cobalt? Well, we can use rife in a slightly different way. It'll get you there, but the progress will be slower. And that's a chat from Bernadette. We have been putting these charts out for years. Do you know if it has a good base frequency? Well, I don't know what you're referring to there. Let me see if I can find it. Robert, if you want to send me a chat about that, about the new microphone, great and wonderful. I just can't stop right now and look at it. Okay, threonine is excellent for the gut. It helps reestablish the gut. And that's where it comes in, leaky gut. But look, if you are exposed to uranium-237, and when we do this online, you'll get to see which ones of these people have been exposed to. But this is the competition. When iodine-131 comes in the body, it interferes with your use of zinc. And that's the biggie one from Fukushima. Can you begin to see a pattern here of how Fukushima, everything gets weak? Here it is. We put out years ago. We've been ahead of this since 2000, I think, was our first article in Nexus. We have a video for you, Miracles of Non-Medicine. If you take our classes, you get it free. I do not think this online thing is still there. I think they had to rebuild it, but you can certainly look at it. We're giving it away for free. It's all the doctors that work with us. Secret Sounds by Jill Madsen, and you've heard of her in the music that she created. We give you that book when you take our advanced courses. The Tree of Life and Holy Grail is by Sylvia Frank. I didn't know Sylvia. She wrote a book, and in it she said what Sherry Edwards is doing and bringing to the world is part of the lost information from the ancient Templars. I didn't understand why I knew things, why I heard things, why the science was coming to me. I'd write it down, I'd go check it out, and it'd be real. She says that somewhere I was associated with the Templars, and it's come down through my DNA of what's really going on. That explains why a percentage of my DNA is mutated or unlike other people on the planet. I can't say that because my son and grandson have the mutated DNA. But it is much more. What I teach people, what I share with people, is much more than what I have ever learned. And I feel like I get to be the radio to deliver this message. I didn't learn it. It's just available to me. We do very startling things. This is Good Vibrations, also available on our website. 3 minutes. It's a great marketing tool for you. This little girl in the blue, coming out of the 9th grade, she looks about 10, 12. Over the summer, we were able to help her kick in her growth hormones. This is what she looked like when she started 9th grade. We forever changed her life. You can find a lot of places online. That's what we want for you, to teach you how to do all of this from a perspective of your voice as a frequency generation, and looking at the frequencies from 0 to 1012, I think, and each one of these little red circles. We used to do all this by hand. Now it's automatic, and Allison is going to let us use her voice to look at all this. We can also look at pathogens. This is what a pathogen looks like. So if you're looking at someone's vocal print, like that has corona, it'll have this Parkinson or coronavirus pathogen, a hump. Now there are other humps. Can you see this is a hump? But it's very big. This is inflammation like in a tooth. So you can differentiate it from a pathogen. So one of the things that I think is really important with this coronavirus is heme. When we put out the August article last year in Nexus, it showed that our heme is going to be attacked. And this is heme for this woman. This helps with iron, distribution of iron, carrying it from place to place, being able to use it. We can discern this. There's a funny story with this woman. She came to us and had 6 weeks to live. 4 or 5 years later, after we helped her, she called me up and wanted a donation for the Leukemia Foundation. I said, we're the ones that helped you. You send that donation over to me. It was just funny. She didn't get it. She wouldn't have been alive to ask for a donation had we not helped her. We helped her also with Nano Voice, and you can use Nano Voice to look at what's going on in your voice. A sharp is corona, and we did that kind of last week. When we look at, let me go back and find the chart with all the A and A sharp on it. Let me go back and show you where this comes in. This is an A sharp. If you have too much of it, suspect cobalt. Too much F, suspect strontium. And what it interferes with, especially if you have any of these symptoms, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, energy, oxygenation. It also helps you use choline. So if you're forgetting your words, which is one of the things that choline helps with, you're getting Alzheimer's, might go look for the strontium 90. It interferes with your bones and your fluids. There is so much information in here. So some of you looked at this before. We need to look at what the note is. And with the Nano Voice, this is average. So if we look at the note of C, where we're going to go look at those, now open something called Audacity. And there is a booklet, BioAcoustic Basics, that you just saw that gives you every step of this. So I want to share, so stop share, and this is Audacity. You can, Audacity. You can download it absolutely free. And look at Allison. Allison, you're unmuted. Can you talk a little bit so we can tell what's going on?
Hi. Yes. I hope this works because I'm using a mic from my niece. If not, then you can go to Robert.
Well, we'll see if it's working, but you sound very clear here.
Okay, super.
Wait just a second while I explain. I'm going to hit the red button and you're going to talk for 30 seconds here about your descriptions. Then I'm going to hit the square and we're going to save it. So are you ready to talk 30 seconds?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Go.
Okay, I was exposed to Chernobyl and I had lots of cases of bleeding of fibroids and thyroid problems. But nowadays my problem is mainly to do with computers and telephones and mobile phones. They make my hands and my skin tingle. Lying in bed at night, I very often get tingling all over my body. I use symbols to put on computers that have worked for some of my clients, but they don't seem to work terribly well for me. I don't know if I'm just more sensitive than other people.
Okay, one of the things, if you're very sensitive to cell phones, there's a mineralization unbalance. When I hold a cell phone, it turns hot and it makes my ear hot. And I have a problem with magnesium and potassium. So that's one of the things you can look for when anybody has those symptoms. Now this is a little low. We could take it over if you want, but I think this will work fine. We don't want to save it. A lot of you save it and you send me something other than a WAV file. I need you to export it, and it needs to be exported right into my waves file here. And you can set your computer up anywhere. Allison. Chernobyl. C-H-E-R. Spell Chernobyl for me.
Oh gosh, C-H-E-R-N-O-B-Y-L.
Okay, I'm just going to save it. The next thing we need to do are soundhealthportal.com. And you can set up a apprentice or guest subscription, and it's free, I think, for 15 days now. So we're going to say no. Now I have to put my key in there. And that opens it up, and we're going to look for new, because we've never had Allison in here. So new client, so Allison.
C-H-E-R-N-O-B-Y-L.
And your birthday, you can fake it if you want.
11 December 1959.
Okay, female.
Yep.
Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, but I'm not seeing, I'm still seeing the Audacity screen.
Okay, I need to change it here. Okay, this is, are you seeing the portal now?
Yep. Yes,
okay.
I am.
So female, we put in your name. Region, where are you now?
In Bonn, Germany.
Okay, I'm not going to put your email in here. Share with, if you have a practitioner you can share it with. And down here, if we mark these, the computer will sort of help us along. So repair, reproduction, we don't have respiration or radiation in here. We have repair. We could look at that. Do we have leaky gut? No. Detox? No, we're just going to have to mark some of these in.
Thyroid?
Oh, I can see that. I'll get that. R-A-D-I-A-T. Gut. Right after your exposure, did your thyroid go haywire?
Yes, it did. And I also have seizures. That my therapist said they were like the sort of seizures that people get before an epileptic fit comes on.
Okay, I'm going to add that to the list here because we do have a thing for seizures. Okay, we're going to save and continue this. This is probably the longest thing we're going to do. We're going to import your file. Most of this is just learning which button to push. I should do it by date so you'll be on the top. Did it not save it there? I'm not in the waves file. Desktop. Somehow I got out of the waves file. There you are.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to read it, and we can go many directions from here. We can look at biobundles. There's none for radiation right now, although we're putting one together. We can go look at what is really causing your problem. If you don't know, it's time to just go look at this little green and yellow thing here. And it will give us 8 different systems of the body. And it'll give us a summary. Air pollution. That's a good one. Muscle cramps, nerve degeneration, inflammation, GAD, glutathione anhydrolase, hearing, hives. I don't go any lower than like 5%. All of yours are 6 or more. This also indicates there's a weight problem.
Yes.
Allergies.
It's also bad.
But we can look at all of these, like air pollution. Let's go find that. Air pollution. So toxicity. So anything in the middle here is too low. Cytochrome, GABA receptor. So there's some mood swings. So we can look it up. Michael, who built all of this, put in so many resources. It's just incredible. So let's go look this up, this GABA receptor. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Forget I did that. I'm going to go back to air pollution. So this is high acetylcholine. That's genetic. Choline receptor. So you sometimes have trouble with memory. So let's look what's really causing this. Let's say dig deeper down into this air pollution and show us what's going on. 6 out of 35, and it's not going to do it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, Michael. But it's telling us your number one issue here is air pollution. So we can remember that and then look at the next one. Muscle cramps. Do you have muscle cramps? Nerve degeneration. Do you have that?
Yep. I have a problem with my nerves.
Okay.
My nervous system.
Okay. Michael says I should take it to biobundles and then I can drill down, but I don't want to do that yet. So what we're going to do is look at your voice print. We need to say, the next step is to do an evaluation. We'll go to biobundles in a minute. So a new evaluation, and here's where you can tell if you had a good microphone. If you're just looking at this section right here, which tells us where this problem came from, if this is below the blue line, this section is not a good mic. So you can ask the computer to pull the points. And you can ask it in many, many ways. That's what we teach you in our courses. There is one next Thursday and Friday, by the way, if any of you want to join us.
Sounds good.
I want to take that one because it looks high and open. So anything open is active. So it pulled the points for us, and I'm going to pick a template. And I think I'm going to pick the 2 radiation templates. Usually to start out we just pick one, but I'd like to look at just radiation. R-A-D-I-A-T-I-O-N. This tells us how many hits you have in each of the databases. Michael's put this together so it's just incredibly easy. So radiation plus, radiation influence. Let's look at both of those. I need to take this off for a minute. I'm not sure. I blocked some stuff. These turquoise, this means that some of these are involved or connected to one another. So here's the biggest turquoise. That's probably the biggest problem. So we want to save and close. A score of 484, that's high. Above 350, we're going to consider high.
Okay.
But let's go look. So we have this evaluation that we've done. I'm having trouble getting to it. You get to keep all your people here. You get to compare things. It's awesome. So descriptions, evaluations. Okay, I'll click here. I'm just trying to go around the fix. Okay, let's see if we can get an evaluation. Aha, it's going to do it. It's going to let me go around. This is what you can send to your client. It's the easiest way to look at something. Only 3 pages. So the first page, oh, this is Kaj. Let's see if it'll do it on yours. In her case, we were checking with golf or whatever. But this is what the report looks like. Her number 1 problem is C4 in her neck. Now, I did this one yesterday. Let's see if we can go look at yours and get that same kind of report. And I don't know how. What will come up? He's looking into it. In the meantime, I'll show you some other things that can come up. Let's do Kaj's because we know we can work with it. So as we're looking, evaluations. So we can look at this little computer here, and here's the Krebs cycle. Maybe the Krebs cycle's coming up. So you can print this off. So right here, the sulfite, and it's a note of B, and it's that terrible thing that kills cells. So if this sulfite comes up, you know that killer is on the loose. But we want to see what of the Krebs cycle is a problem, what of the detox nitric oxide synthase is the wall between pulling out the garbage and sending it out of the body. So you really want to pull anything like any of the radiation. I don't know if we could go up here and choose. Let's look at evaluations. 3 pages, but it's looking at radiation here. This is all of your, if this is high, do that. If this is low, whatever. So when people send in a print, if this is low on this side, you know it's useless. But let's look at the next page and see what your number 1 issue is. Glutathione is too high. To make glutathione as a gene, to make it work, you can use NAC, glutamate, or glutathione. Glutamate, and I can't remember the other one. But we have something called a green sheet, and that's one of the things that Michael sends to you, and it's called a nutrient assimilation chart. I call it a green sheet. And we're looking at this glutathione that's too high, and so it needs cysteine, glutamic acid, or glycine to make it work.
Okay.
So that comes when you get a report. Taurine is high, and these are all 1s. And taurine is a note of B. It also helps the heart replenish itself, but it looks like your taurine is not working. So let's look at taurine. Vital to utilize sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, made from cysteine. And there's a connection here. When you get to this part, it's like sleuthing. It's wonderful. I love the puzzle. But it tells us that's the 2 things we need to look at. Here is some things, I don't even know what that is, but Michael set it up, so if you click on it, it'll take you right to it. Enzyme to reduce thioredoxin. 2 classes right there. Bacteria, animals, both classes. NADPH, the NAD that helps the liver. Nicotinic adenosine diphosphate. Now that is the enzyme that makes the Krebs cycle work. Right here, the enzyme that makes all of this work is NAD, nicotinic adenosine diphosphate, and you have it in stress.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, we lost it. Hold on a second. I need to get your chart back. you can buy this, but it's a gene. The gene got disturbed. Your vital force has been disturbed through your genes. You can buy NAD at your health food store. This is thymosin may reduce free radicals. Oh, that's a number 2 rank. That's a number 3 rank. This gives all of this in order of what you can do with it. Now we get something like a genome, and you can't go buy a genome. So we have to use it with sound. B5 you can buy at the health food store. It needs pantethine to make it work. It's on the vitamin B5. Vitamin C, AE, essential element coenzyme A. So you can get a full B5, and it has all its cofactors with it. So see how this is just get information and then put it all together and see where you ought to go? I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we can do it with you right now, but we could do it with someone else. To follow along. Let's look at Kaj. She has several. No, just one. Let's find somebody that has more than one. Sherry. Okay, she has the beginning of MS, and we're able to see it. She gets this buzzing. So we can mark 2 of these and say, show me how we did. I love this part. You get to see, you take the B5 and you get to see if it did work. There's a bar chart for each time she was in, but I have trouble with that. I like the line chart. So you can see from the first time we saw her, whatever date that was, to the second, this blue metabolic profile went from 117 to 97. That's great progress. So all your clients, you can follow them along, or if you're allergic to bananas or whatever, you can follow it. That's amazing to me. So let's go back to you. We only have one of you, so we can't do much with it in comparison. But let's evaluation. We first look at the vocal file, and then we evaluate it. From here, this is a real need. Wait a minute. I need to reduce something here. I hear a clock ticking.
Yes, this is my clock. It's mine.
Okay. This is some of the things that is at issue. Now we can look by template. It's all radiation here. We're going to add one other thing to it. We can look at relevance. When the yellow is the first relevance. So anything in this 46 area, that's your relevance score, that's what you need to take care of. And it's just the same as that other report, only this gives us a little more information, like what it does. And the green is next. Now I would do the yellow first. If this was close, like 42 or something, I might help do it first. But we look at this, we look at the frequencies, we test you on the frequencies, and then we give you a tone box to counteract it. But on something like glutathione S-transferase, a genome, we have to do that with frequency. An amino acids, taurine, you can read a book and see what helps taurine. Go to your health food store and get it. So it depends on what's going to happen, what we're going to do. Now, another thing that Michael said to go look at with you would be the biobundles. And we don't have any biobundles right now that make up radiation. So we can look at maybe the closest one I found was athletic perfection, and this is building your body back up. So it says muscles, 5.6, ultimate diet, 8.2, 1.3. So as we're looking at this, inflammation bundle is what's going to really make a difference for you. So we're going to go down to root cause, and we should be able to put up radiation up here soon. But in this case, to make your body perfect and back to where it should be and regenerate it, inflammation. So let's see what's causing your inflammation. Antitrypsin, chemokine. That's good that that's low, because that's the inflammation storm. Elastin is low, so your connective tissue is not building itself.
No, it's not terribly good.
Pinto, I can't even pronounce that. Let's see if we can find it.
But I take things for inflammation at the moment. It's mainly homeopathic, but...
Well, let's see what's causing it. So this is one of the things that it said is out of whack. Therapeutic uses of pentoxifylline improves blood circulation, may prevent stroke. That's a good thing. Serapeptase, spiderwebs, elastin, cetyl mysteric. I don't want to go hunting for all those. But what we're looking at here, and we look at inflammation, and now we can go deeper. And we can see one enzyme, 3 fatty acids. So it's the fatty acids being stressed, and alpha-linolenic acid. Let's look at the rest. So the fatty acids, it's only 2, myristic acid and alpha-linolenic. Myristic is too low, so you might want to find out where that's from and, I don't know, eat it. Let's look at what lipid it is. And one of the things that peroxyrote or whatever it was, one of the things it attacks is your lipids, gamma-linolenic acid. Remember when we went to the map right here? Mm-hmm. This is where that bad, I'll have to go back and look it up. The bad thing comes right here that kills your cells.
Yeah.
And it attacks the lipids. So this can give us some root cause. Let's back up a minute. You can also print this. But let's back up, because you said the ultimate diet here is part of all of this. So let's see diet. A lot of low stuff. Norepinephrine, dopamine. All that is right here. And this is what gives your cells energy. Norepinephrine. You feel fatigued. This is what gets attacked when you have Epstein-Barr.
Okay.
But we can look at what each one of these are. 13 epigenetics, so it's going to get worse. 13 proteins. Let's look at the proteins that you have out of balance. Too low. A polyprotein. That's one of the things that makes adiponectin work. When that's too low, your body goes into lipedema and it won't let the fat back out of the cell. Mm-hmm. You can't buy it. PRDM, I don't have the slightest idea what that is. But we can look up each one of these. We're going to kill protein. Let's look at genes. What are the genes that are causing this? Being able to look at the underneath of what's causing this is just incredible help. Ghrelin. that controls your appetite. There's that apolipoprotein I never can pronounce. So we could look at all of these. GLUT8 is a gene that causes diabetes. Fat gene, look at that. So we need to reduce these, get everything on this line. That's where we want to go with it. But this identifies what we should do. Like identifies the lipid, the fatty acid. Let's look at this one. This means it's coming. There's 13 things we need to look at. Norepinephrine transporter, so your energy is really low. GABA receptor, energy low. And we don't care about this citron. It has to deal with the brain and bad stuff. Resistin, that is usually associated with pregnant ladies. GLUT10, you have 2 glutes, so you have 2 issues genetically with diabetes already. Pituitary hormone, here twice. This is as far as we can go in identifying things unless people take the courses that allow you to look at the frequencies of this. So we're going to go back and combine some things for you. Evaluations. We want to use this, and we want to look at your thyroid. Thyroid and radiation. This gives you the score of everything you've done. Thyroid, radiation. Let's look at radical factors too, because you said you had something with your nerves. And we could look at your methylation, see what all's going on. I think you can look at up to 10 maybe, I can't remember. But the more you put in here, the more trouble you have separating anything else. Now what we want to do is organize it by template. Go look at the thyroid and see if there's any yellow. Radiation, some yellow. Radiation, yellow. Radiation. There's the taurine for radical factors. That just helps get rid of free radicals. No yellow in thyroid. We have green and blue. So they're secondary or tertiary issues. The thyroid is not the number one issue. How do we find the number one issue? Go to templates. You can play with this forever. Look at the number of hits. 288 on NSYNC. Now NSYNC is a bundle. So this is a lot of things together. Metabolomics, that's just things that are not working well and they're breaking down. Anything above 50 we should look at. Parkinson's, that's a lot of nerve.
Everything.
Well, we'd look at the first 3 or 4 and take care of them. And when you take care of the worst of the worst, the body starts to come into alignment. And you can try to look at high hits and high percentage of hits at the same time. 14 is the highest here. Let's look. Percentage of hits. 29, GERD. This is trouble swallowing.
Yeah, I have that.
And it's 29. If you've never had chemotherapy, forget that one. Joints. But see, they don't have very many hits. Here is 22% in shingles. So susceptibility to shingles virus. What is that? Whooping cough? What is shingles? Chickenpox.
Okay.
And
I have that.
Well, the chickenpox virus will show up here.
Yeah.
But you can look at hives. You can look at anything. And Michael has put it together in so many different ways that whatever your method is, look here, 26%, that's milk wheat allergy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I stopped drinking milk so long ago though.
Well, let's just see what happens here.
Because everybody in my family had cow's milk allergies from childhood. So we use goat's milk or coconut milk and things like that. But I still eat wheat.
Let's look and see what it says. To have a quarter of the entire database come up is just, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And there's some yellow. What is dipedal? It's a genome. Plays role in glucose metabolism. Helps bring down milk. Isn't that just awesome that this comes up and it's a family thing, it's a gene? This stuff is hard to believe until you see it happen and you're able to identify it as something that's part of your family. Incredible. I wanted to bring up a couple of other things. Here is, that was a good thing, that's not a bad thing. Radiation, I'll put this in the chat, where it attacks and how to get rid of it.
Okay, great.
Can you see what I'm looking at?
Yep, I can. From the Mayo Clinic.
Okay, I'm going to put this in the chat, the link to it. But it also tells you herbs that will detox. And here's supplements that will detox. And you do have some detox issues. So this is, it's supposed to be giving us supplements. These are regions to detox, so I'll put that in there too, because we're way over time.
Sorry, everyone.
Here's the idea about the nitric oxide and the bad guy that kills your cells. It was over my head. I'm going to have to go back and study it. Oh, I'm not giving this to everybody. Well, it still says Alice and all panels. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just putting these, I was just giving them to Allison. I want to give them to everybody. So there's radiation symptoms. It says what to do about it. It gives your hair fall out. You get weak and fatigued. We looked that up. Detox. 8 herbs that help your body. I found this one really fascinating. The very first one is what my grandma used to do to us. Make us make dandelion tea every spring.
Yeah, I eat the flowers and we put the leaves in salad.
They're full of catalase, which is a blood cleaner.
Yep.
Red clover.
I drink that in tea.
Stinging nettle.
And, yeah.
Burdock root. Cilantro. I hate cilantro. But
I love cilantro.
It tastes like Tide detergent to me. Ground ivy. I've never had that, but it's pretty.
Me neither.
Milk thistle. So I will put this in the chat for everyone. Okay, let's go back and look at what we have found and what to do with Allison in priority. And the first thing you're going to send to your client is this report. Now we added some more stuff to it, thyroid and whatever. Let's see if thyroid comes up first, or we're still... You can bundle this or you can print it. Helps look, number one now is the milk thing, not the glutathione. Plays a major role in glucose metabolism, gluten, and milk. They're all high, except this one.
I can't even figure out where I would get milk.
Some tuna, it has milk in it.
Okay, that we do eat occasionally because we cook almost everything ourselves, because to avoid allergy issues and things like that.
It's getting it someplace because it's high.
Yeah. Gosh.
I was trying to think of other things that have milk in it that surprised me. I can't think of any right now.
Okay, we're definitely going to have to look at that.
So everything that we bring in, whether it's thyroid or diet or whatever, the computer program chooses and puts it in a ranking order of how you should take care of it.
Yeah.
And you can do this easily. You just go in, pull the points, and you can pull them by template, by future things, by what you can pick. All of this is just teaching you how to mix and match the ideas that the computer program shows you so that you can make the best assessment of your client and help them look at their nutrition, look at their immune system. Oh, I wanted to run that, and I totally forgot. Because I think radiation really compromises your immune system.
Yes, it certainly does.
You have 56 hits. Look, you have more hits on leukemia.
Ooh.
We need to go back and look at that. We only have one practitioner in Germany. Her name's Irina Woolley. She's not allowed to open her practice yet because they can't get masks and stuff.
Okay.
But we'll give you her information, so maybe you can write to her.
Okay.
Okay.
Will it also be okay for me to just write back and ask about you doing a sound file for me, especially for the genome?
Absolutely.
Oh, great. So I can just reply to the email when I get the report.
Yeah, so here's Immune Rise. And it's that genome for milk. And then here's the glutathione. It's all in that number one when we combine them. We can see years ahead of time what is going on. Glutathione, taurine, that milk protein, we fix those 2 or 3 at least, and the body will start to pick up and do its own thing. The other thing I would do with you is to put in mapping. You only have 6 hits. That's wonderful. We don't even need to bother with that. How about mapping? Kathy Pascal as a question. Let me find participants again. We'll get to your question. Oh, did you put your hand down? Kathy, did you have a question? Mapping, you have 16. That's worth looking at.
Okay.
There's taurine again. Let's get the map again. We can't get them both on here. Maybe. The monoamine A here, and that's interfering with your norepinephrine. Uracil, lowest low, that's changing your DNA to the proteins that need for RNA. ACE is over here with that bad guy in front of it. MTR, all these in blue are genomes. So This is how your body's using methionine. MTR, vitamin B12, MTHFR, that's using that same pattern. Whoops. The MTHR here. So we know this one comes first. This is how you're repleting your DNA, and there's a problem with it. Folate seems to be in stress. So you can munch around these things for days. But the best thing that you can do, sign up for our 2-day course. It's free. We give you the software to use. Go to Sound Health Options. And sign up under classes. And if you're really in a hurry, go to soundhealthportal.com, and there's all kinds of tutorials. If you're self-motivated, there's enough tutorials there to teach you to use this.
Yeah, I want to, I started looking at some of the courses, but I thought to myself, I don't know if I have the energy to start a second career because there's just so much. But yeah, certainly. And a friend of mine also wants to get going with this, so we'll be signing up.
I use this like every other day to look at my nutrition and my insulin levels to see where I am, because I use insulin by sound.
Yep, that is something I wanted to ask. Isn't it possible to deal with all of these issues, for example, rather than taking supplements, is it possible to do everything through sound?
Boy, there was a lady who came to the front door and she had stuck a curling iron in her eyeball. I sent her to the hospital. I didn't know how to deal with that. Mm-hmm. And snake bite that showed up here, I sent them to the hospital because I don't know. So I'm trying to think what we can't do. I can't suture thing back together, but we do have a sound that will take a bone and reset it. We just don't know what we can do yet.
What is possible?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why we're training people so they can give us back information. Another thing that people can look here, weekly keynote, there are frequencies coming from outer space. They use these to judge when they can launch a missile. And so we put these out every week so people know what is in stress. These neck muscles for this week. Ciliary nootropic factor, PABA. This is an inborn error of sulfur. So people would be more susceptible to getting any kind of pathogen if you don't have the frequencies for this SUOX. So lots of stuff. We just barely skimmed the surface of the portal and what's going on with it. Soundhealthportal.com. There is wonderful things here that you can go get your voice done. Okay, come on. Under services, we try to keep several of these up here at a time. You can go to support, and these are all tutorials. And even with just these tutorials, you can start a business. We give you a free course and free software, and you can start a business and go for it. Our idea is to bring bioacoustics to life, and I already told you, a center in every community. What is the lady's name? Mutant Messages Down Under, George, is the book. Her name is Marlo something. They can set a bone and heal it in less than 3 days. To see ahead in time, do people need their birthday? I don't know. I'm just trying to answer some questions here I just totally ignored. To see years, Sherry, is goat milk okay to drink? For some people, yes. For some people, no. And there's a way to tell. We have an allergy tester. So you read a passage that we have had done for you, and then you drink the milk, and you read the same passage again, and it'll see if you really messed up your voice. We should do a class on allergy testing, shouldn't we? I'll write that down. Look at the ingredient list for a milk product. That's just a suggestion Joan is saying. Can you sign up for a technician course at a guest? It's on Sound Health Options. And can you see what I'm looking at? The site. Go to classes, and there's next weekend.
Next week.
Thursday and Friday of next week. The cutoff, though, is Monday, so you should get your application in. Have you tested any COVID positive for radiation? I didn't, but I only thought of it today as I was getting ready for this class. Luann, I think that's a great idea. Do the healing frequencies need to be in pairs, or can they be presented as... They can be presented as single, but it's going to take a long time, much longer time to do it. Oh, will the softball be available for Mac anytime soon? Well, the portal works on any platform. The softball. I don't know what you mean by the softball. I thought maybe you meant the whole shebang. Softball. I just don't know. Can you explain what you're doing? Or what you're asking? Typo. Software. Okay. You can use it on Mac right now if you use Parallels. My mistake. Okay. But the portal works on any platform. You can even do it on your phone. It's been great doing this. It's energized me. I hope it helps you guys as we go along, and I hope to see you on the next show. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. It was so great. Thank you so very much.
You are very welcome.
And to the whole group for being so patient.
Yours was a great chart. If you will send me your email address, I will send your reports to you.
Okay, super. Should I put it in the chat or?
You can put it in the chat, but everybody will see it.
Oh, I have something here to Charlie Edwards Paraclete. I will put it there.
Okay. Sounds good.
Great.